Monday. It is your girl, Rose Kaz, actually tuning in live today. And in fact, that reminds me, I'm also going live on the Backstage Pass. We are actually live on all of our channels right now with some of our OG supporting lady bosses, Ber-Henda WIlliams, Megan Monique, and Veronica Reyes Perez. Hello, ladies. We are getting together today. Ooh, turkey's done. We're getting together today to not only celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, World Mental Health Day, we're about to have a 1-year celebration of the Backstage Pass, which is this. I'm always working on the tagline, but essentially what we're building on the Backstage Pass is the most important place on the internet for women who want to see the world change and live our life on our own terms. And the Backstage Pass is a global hub for thought leaders, industry disruptors, and business activists. And so these women who are joining me on the call today are nothing short of change makers, definitely thought leaders. And I'm just really excited to be surrounded by such badass women who give a damn. The theme for our chat today is collaborate. We're cycling through each of our core values on the Backstage Pass, which is to collaborate, elevate, and inspire in the most inclusive and diverse ways that we know how. And we're always a work in progress. So please don't cancel us because we're learning as we go. And so I'm just really glad to be joined by these gals. I'm going to pass the mic over to Megan Monique first. Give us a little intro of who you are, what you're doing in the world, and we'll just pass the mic around and get into a conversation about why collaboration matters on a day like today, in a world where we are right now, and particularly as women thought leaders. Take it away, Megan.
Hello, it's Megan Monique. And I do being a professional intuitive to a creative and Ber-Henda and Veronica, which is why we're all here in collaboration. It is, and creating networks and building a very important part of the work, like embedded in me on a cellular level to relationships, especially when they're creative, and then you just have so much more whenever you're working with other women or like-minded and kind of in the same web as purpose that you're moving towards. So has been woven into like everything that I've ever.
I like to say that Megan brings like the gold thread to stitch together the communities and the networks that she's working with simultaneously. And I think that's why I want to start with Megan, because she's actually someone who Ber-Henda introduced me to, and who I see kind of navigating through these different communities, which is definitely the goal of the Backstage Pass, is to bring together all of these different amazing groups of women that are doing wonderful things. And like, what if we have a hub, an ecosystem that like connects us all? So glad you're here, Megan. And I'm going to pass it over to Ber-Henda, the original connector of Megan and me. And then Megan, of course, then connected us to Veronica. So this like web is just like beautifully woven. So Ber-Henda, over to you.
Wow. So, this kind of noodling, on this is, I knew that we would be into space, but I think that the most, I would say it's essential. If you're going to be a woman's world doing business, or you work for a nonprofit or even for-profit entity, your success is really predicated on your ability to collaborate with other women. There was this really interesting science experiment done in a lab where the female identified lab workers were given a problem to solve, and the male identified lab workers were given a problem to solve. And exponentially, the women did better. They did better because they didn't isolate. So instead of the problem as an individual, the women naturally came together to solve it. So I believe wholeheartedly that whatever it is that we are attempting to do, starting a business, family, running a corporation, we're just naturally going to thrive more if we collaborate.
Yeah, what an interesting experiment, and I'd love to see that experiment the results of that over the course of time, like what that looks like with like 5 female lab rats or test subjects and 10 and 20 and 100, and then thinking about how we can even try that sample test on our own, like not that we're testing humans, right? But like how effective can my mission be with 5 additional lady bosses, with 10, with 100, like how we aim to solve problems. And that's what I'm really jazzed about the work Ber-Henda is doing with the Power of Girlhood, which I just think is a beautiful project. And the hope I think with that project, Ber-Henda, is you're creating more leaders with these young women, these young Black and brown women, and right in ways that collectively we can make more progress happen, especially if it's baked into our upbringing, into our cultures at an early age. So I think that's incredible, the work you're doing. And let's pass it over to Veronica and hear, Veronica, where in the world are you tuning in from? Tell us just a little bit about your background.
Hey, so I am tuning in from Corsicana, Texas, on the college campus that I work at. One of the roles of mine is as an I've been an educator in several forms, and currently, but I'm also a musician, and I don't think it's like ... after that, because I am on this path, on this journey, seeing what more there is to me. And Megan has definitely been a part of that. Henda, whether you know it or not, you are part of that journey as well, and a part of the growth that is happening in me. So educator, musician, we'll see what else comes of me. Overall, I feel I am looking for all the ways that I can use my creativity in a ways with my values, with my purpose. So we'll see what that turns into.
That's super exciting, Veronica. And I have to say, one of the things that I've noticed, we just started a junior board with college age lady bosses. And I did not curate this particular, I just was like college age lady bosses, right? And all of them are studying something that would be considered right brain as well as left brain. So we're seeing these like accountants who are studying poetry and these filmmakers who are studying engineering. And it's like, oh my God, like the future is so bright with these possibilities of not just collaborating subject matter, but like allowing for our brains, both sides, to like kind of, increase their capabilities, which I think, I haven't studied brain functionality yet, but my understanding is that we've been really good at like, as humans over the course of time, in sort of segmenting things, right? And like, what are the possibilities when we collaborate literally with our own brain, with our own neighbor, within our communities and concentric circles. And so maybe if you all will just pass the mic again, like let's talk a little bit about opportunities to collaborate that you have been maybe surprised by. Maybe you are already thinking on a Monday, yes, we collaborate, right? On a Tuesday, we collaborate. Like we're doing this all the time, but perhaps there's an experience that you've had recently that you found a little shocking as a collaboration, happily or maybe otherwise, but I'd love to hear from you. So whoever wants to pop in.
First again. There have been certain opportunities over my life that surprised me that I've read. Like I'm gonna just highlight Veronica. So she's a musician. I've always enjoyed, or really like saw myself taking that on professionally, the opportunity to start performing, and that has been a life-changing experience for me. It's also given me an opportunity to step into like more, and it all bleeds over into others of my life. I also 8 or 9 years ago, I no longer have, and we were looking on 2 different opportunities. There were local people available for rent. That Thomas, we had a spiritual shop, just a little spiritual shop, and like something very, the small town, country town that we lived in Texas, and like the community gave us an opportunity what we could do, and it was just an unbelievable experience. doesn't have the longevity, that some business could run of like 6 years, and making a real in customers and clients that came to see us. So I'm so grateful for the opportunities, that different opportunities for collaboration that have found as women, when we step into these yes to the opportunities that then we then have a moment with someone else in our space, someone else who a leg up or needs an opening to try out some different aspect of themselves that they're wanting. When we step into those opportunities for collaboration, an opportunity to give that to someone else later on.
I think I can summarize what you said. It was a little crackling on my end. I don't know if y'all could hear a little bit better, but I think what you were talking about is the opportunity for unexpected collaborations coming through, even in windows, pockets, places, geographically or timing in your life where you're like not planning on them, and what can come of that when you're open to it. I think that's what you were saying. I hope I was paraphrasing correctly.
I'm sorry. Is this sound better now?
I think so. It could have been those earbuds. They sometimes just really hijack the audio. They're supposed to make them better. I think, yeah.
I was just saying that whenever I've had opportunities, and one of the best things about that is whenever you seize that opportunity, then you give someone else an opportunity to step in and explore themselves and their own creativity as well.
Yes. I definitely agree. And I imagine these other gals do as well. Ber-Henda, if you'd like to share an opportunity you had recently in collaboration that was surprising, we'd love to hear it. Can you all hear me okay? Yeah. Oh no, Ber-Henda, we lost your audio. Okay, we'll pass it over to Veronica, and then we'll come back to you.
Yes. So I feel like collaboration in itself all over my life. More recently, of course, as an educator, as a teacher, we are collaborating with. I think one thing that we don't realize is that there's also collaboration with our students. I used to work with kindergarten with college age students, so 18 and above, and field right now I am getting to have those conversations with my students. I want our class to run. I teach math, and one of the cool things about math is that there are to the answer. So I like showing my students there's this way, and let me show you this way. Which one did you like more? Okay, we're going with that one because I want to say and how they learn, and if this works for them, then we're going to go with that. Opportunities to work with students educationally, academically, so musically. For the longest, I taught myself how to play guitar, just me and Google. So it was kind of a lonely journey at the beginning, and on myself. But more recently, Megan and I, as well as of our fellow friends, are now performing in a, and that has been probably the funnest form of collaboration that I can. You can imagine musically what that might be like, and it can also be. I don't want to say unable is the right word, because collaboration also gives you the opportunity to get out of your comfort zone, press some buttons that haven't been pressed before, to have you question or try. We'll practice, and then we might end a song and think, can we this sounds, or how does that sound, or so there are always whether it's from my students, whether it's from my bandmates, and overall areas, growth comes out of it. Growth of the diversity that we're surrounded with, whether it's cultural, ages, or socioeconomic, whatever, as well as so I can attest to the growth of collaboration, the out of your comfort zone-ness, pushes that growth, pushes that development, sense of awareness on the world around you. So yeah, I've been really grateful for the experience that I've had so far in doing.
That's awesome. Well, I love how you pointed out within your teaching world, within academics and education, right? Of course, there's the natural need to collaborate so that like the class can move forward and you're leading. But also, I've learned recently in a variety of cohorts, like I'm never going to be too old to learn, and around the idea of being open and curious to what somebody else may have already solved this, or how can we like bounce ideas off of. And I love how you lead, like giving your students the opportunity of there's a couple options here, right? Because so often our education system, our brains are like, we have one way to do it and this is it. And I think part of the awesome nature of women and female leadership is like potentially being a little more fluid and having a little more flexibility, still being goal-minded and still being like, okay, we need to make this milestone, we need to make this money, we need to check this box. But like, we all know that success does not go in a straight line, or even for that matter, like progress, right? It's like just these concentric circles of sort of chaos, right? So I love how you mentioned that. And then of course, making time for play and movement and collaboration within the arts. My partner and I have this ongoing conversation of like, what inspires change and progress in technology? Is it the art that inspires it, or does art come out of the technology's advancement? And so I like that we collaborate, he and I, in those conversations. But even here, as we're discussing, right, like what are the things, what pushes the envelope forward, what maintains the status quo, and like where do we get to be sort of divergent of that, if you will, right? Like that's what we intend to do when we're thought leaders and industry disruptors, is we want to kind of flip the script on the old ways that aren't working. So B, I'd love to hear from you if you're back on mic. We're having some fun little snafus of tech, but that will not stop the show or this conversation. So B, over to you.
Yeah, no, I really love the entering of the evolution of education and how collaboration fits into the classroom, and I really hope that continues to perpetuate itself. And of course, as a neurodivergent person of color, yeah, we want to dismantle the ways in which that we do things. We have to think outside of the box. And so I think that particularly those that maybe have been labeled as strange, different, weird, unconventional, untangible, that's exactly what we need to foster a different reality. And we do need people to hold the space of
possibility of something different. Like you have to hold that vision of something different. And as you know, women, I think that one of the greatest gifts are our intuition and to and the ability to then process it into in very accessible ways of sharing what we feel. And I think it's even amazing to see that feelings are getting a lot more in terms of how we create success. And intuition is being validated. Empathy is being validated. I mean, we know this, but it's always legitimized from academia or from a space that does the more qualitative, sort of research. And so, where would we be without the work of Brene Brown, who was challenging us to lead in this more feminine way? But I also harken back to leaders who help. Right? I mean, where would we be without, Greta and Reese Taylor and Dolores Huerta? We hear about the men, but if it weren't for those women, those movements would have been dead in the water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, what I hear you say again, we're having an awesome amount of tech trouble here, but I think the narrative and what you're saying, if I can extract it, is it's super important to honor the collaborations that have actually been made historically by women that often don't get the headliner as the guys, and oftentimes the white guys, right? But also that these pieces of collaboration that are inherent with us, they're not just suddenly inherent. Like they've been inherent this whole time, right? But like they're getting more street cred, they're getting more airtime. Feelings are now being more validated versus like, oh, you have to go deal with that on another day in another place, or don't bring that up here in the team meeting, right? Of course, there's still time and place for appropriate professionalism, but as we see, we're kind of bending and expanding and diverging from that, which is the status quo, to make room for more lived experiences, which is truly collaborative, right? Like that is the point. And so I love, as we wrap this up, these conversations we're going to have every day this week at 2 p.m. EST. They're 30 minutes. They're just down and dirty. This was a little dirtier because the audio is a little sticky, but in true collaborative form, we're coming through and, holding each other's vision and hearing from each other. And I'm being like the sports commentary repeating, but I'm really grateful for each and every one of you and the work that you do with young people, within your own communities, within your own homes, because it's really the concentric circles of collaboration that will lead progress forward. Even if it's, a millimeter by a day, I want it to be yards and feet and miles in a day. But it is because of women like you that we collectively will have a better lived experience for all humans. So hats off to you, Ber-Henda, to Megan, Veronica. I don't have my gold cap on today because I actually did my hair. But by Friday, I'll have that cap back on, I'm sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at the 1-year celebration of the Backstage Pass. That's October 19th. It's a Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. We'll be spotlighting more incredible women like Ber-Henda, Veronica, and Megan. We'll be dancing. We've got we got a good playlist, I have to say. We're still a startup, so we're like not splurging on the DJ this time, but maybe at 2 years we'll throw down for that DJ. For now, it'll be a little homemade house mix. We're giving away some prizes, and we're just talking about staying united in our collaborations. So thank you all so very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all, go out there and make it a great Monday. Thank you again for your time, and I'll see you on the backstage. Ciao for now.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Rose.
Thanks, everybody. All right, y'all. Well, every day this week, October 10th through actually the 19th on through next week, we are having chats at 2 p.m. EST with different community members on the Backstage Pass who are all about our core values. I like to say same mission, different copy. And if you're tuning in on the backstage, thank you. I see you, Jen. I see you, Katie. What's up? What's up, ladies? Our core values are to collaborate, elevate, and inspire in the most inclusive and diverse ways that we know how. And we are constantly iterating, we are constantly learning, and we are constantly making sure that the space on the Backstage Pass is the most important space for women online to collect so that we can organize and we can mobilize around important topics that affect all humans, not just women, because we know a women-led world is going to be one that is better for everyone. So if you missed the talk today, or if it was a little spotty on the audio, I do apologize, but tune in tomorrow, 2 p.m. EST. Let's see, who are we talking with tomorrow? Oh, the one, the only Gigi Diaz from Miami, Florida. If you know anything about Gigi, you know that she is a lady boss. She is a mover and a shaker. We will be talking with Ms. Diaz about how she elevates other women. She has worked for years in media and has recently launched off into her own lane. So we'll be excited to spotlight Gigi tomorrow. And then we have a number of other lady bosses, Jen Buck, Desiree Stevens, a whole bunch of groups of gals coming through and talking about our core values. Same mission, different copy. So tune in every day this week, 2 p.m. EST. If you're on the Backstage Pass already, you've got a VIP look into what we're building back there, our community forums, our topics, our libraries, our LBI mall. It's all glowing up, y'all. So if you have not already, come backstage. The link is in the show notes here. And Wednesday, the 19th of October is our big 1 year. We've made it a year and we've got many more ahead of us. So I hope you'll come back and boogie. We've got some serious tunes that we're going to drop a beat to, give away some prizes from Rach Green Cocktails, Adora Therapy, and some of that yummy, yummy LBI swag. You've seen them, the gold caps, the cool hoodies, and even we've got a few of those cozy, cozy sweaters left. So, all right, it's supposed to be just 30 minutes and we're 33 in. So I'm going to say ciao for now. And thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.